Hey guys, Carl from Purple Misplaced. Today I'm going to be taking a preview look at a prototype copy of the upcoming newest game in the ULO series from Thunderworks Games, Stonespine Architects, from designer Jordy Adan, the name you might recognize from a previous ULO's game, Cartographers. This is going to be a sort of tile-laying, tableau-building, card-laying game where you're designing a dungeon, hoping to score points based on the different features in your dungeon and the pathways that run through it. Disclaimer, I was given this prototype copy, as you might expect, for this preview from the publisher, but as always I will do my best to give you my own honest opinion on how I feel about the game after having played the prototype. With that said, let's head down to the table to see how the solo mode of this game plays, and then I'll meet you back up here to let you know what I think. To set up a solo game of Stonespine Architects, begin by placing out the main board on the table, making sure to set that board to the solo side of the board. I'm going to place it here, but it may need to get slid around as we put in the other things just to maximize space on the screen. Next, I will take the chamber cards and lay them out on the board. But for this video, I will be using the mini expansion that adds in these fountains and shrine cards. So I'm going to shuffle all of these into here, and then I'll set those up right there. Next, we'll do the same thing with the market cards, giving them a shuffle, placing them out on this side of the board like that. And the challenge cards again, giving them a shuffle and placing them off to the right side like this. You then need to select the goal card for that play. So I'm going to shuffle these up and choose one like that. And I'll explain what that does when we get into gameplay. But we then have to set up our own sort of player area. And to do that, first we need to build our dungeon wall, assembling these two. That's double-sided, either this stone or this sort of cavern look. Doesn't matter which side you choose, just choose one. And I'll place that up here off to the side, oops, like that. I need some space for some cards over here, like that. And then to continue building my player area, I need to take these blueprint cards, give them a shuffle, and then choose one of those as well for me. I'll show you what that is right now. I'll explain what this does later when I get into gameplay, but for now, I'm just going to set this off to the bottom of the screen like this. In addition, I will need to choose a player character. I'm going to mark my gold up here with this marker at 0, and then we'll take two of these sort of dungeon entrance exit tiles, first placing the entrance in the slot where it shows on this blueprint. We're going to save the exit for the end of the game. When we get into scoring, we'll place that on. But for right now, my entrance to the dungeon is right there. And again, I will leave this one down here to use at the end of the game. Next, to set up the AI, we're going to take the AI deck of cards, which is 6 cards of the standard and 3 here with crowns on them. These are the more advanced variant. And for this video, I'm actually going to challenge myself to play the advanced variant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle this deck and remove 3 at random, and then I'll mix these 3 in their place. So we're going to shuffle these up, take out 3 of those, and then I will shuffle in these advanced cards like that. And we will be playing 4 rounds. That means at least one of those advanced cards will come out, and I will set those like that right there. And with that, we're basically set up for gameplay, except that there are some tokens that I'm going to set off to the side of the screen. And those are going to be the tokens that we use for the market. Actually, I will have some space down here in the bottom left corner, so I will go ahead and put those out right now. All right, so some of them are still off screen, but you should see there are 3 different types of tokens. There are these sort of square trap tokens, these more oblong, oval-shaped monster, or actually also including secret passageway tokens, and then these smaller sort of treasures and points and smaller creature tokens. And you'll see how those come out in just a second. Because like that, we are all set up for the game. However, to start the first 3 rounds, this game will play out over 4 rounds, but to start the first 3 rounds, we have to fill in the challenges and market area. So we're going to draw 3 challenge cards like this. And then 2 market cards like this. Now you're supposed to place them side by side, but it is going to take up more space that way, so I'm just going to stack them vertically like this. And we can say that this is left and this is right. And when we do that, we're going to fill in the spaces on these cards by turning some of these tokens face up. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I will get into explaining how the game plays. But before I can do that, I also need to draw 5 of these cards as my starting hand. Slide those over just a second. I do see we're getting a bit of a glare there. So for right now, while we're doing this, I will slide them over so you can see them. We will have to move things as I fill in my tableau, but for right now, so you can see all of the cards in my hand, I will do that. But I'm going to pick them up and show them to you in a minute anyway. So Stonespine Architects is going to play out over a series of 4 rounds. And in each round, we're going to be drafting 4 cards, ultimately to build a 4x4 sort of tableau or map of my dungeon, hopefully fitting as much as possible to this blueprint. So the way that's going to work for the solo game, because there are no players to draft and pass to, we're going to be taking one of these cards and placing it in our tableau. And then we're going to reserve 1 card in our hand and discard the rest of them. Then we'll draw back up 3 more cards, do the same thing, place and keep 1. Then draw 2 cards, place and keep 1, and then draw 1 card, place and discard the last card. However, before we do any of that, at the start of every turn, we're going to turn over one of these Jael cards, which is the AI. It's going to give us a couple pieces of information. First, it's going to tell us the sort of symbol or type of card that the AI is trying to collect that round. It's going to tell me the amount of gold that it's going to have for that round, and that's going to be important because that sort of gives us priority about who goes to market first and who picks challenge cards first. Then it's going to tell me which of the tokens on the market cards Jael is trying to take. And then it's going to give me some scoring conditions at the end of the game, meaning they will score 13 points plus 2 points for every kobold in their sort of hand or tableau at the end of the game. So I'm going to place that there, and I'll explain what all of that means in just a second as I get into play. But the first thing I want to show you is that blue symbol, because each of these cards that I have is going to have one of 3 symbols, this red, this green, or this blue. And I told you that I'm going to place 1 card in my dungeon and then hold 1 card in my hand. Of the cards that I didn't place or hold in my hand, if the symbol on that card matches the card here, then Jael is going to take those cards at the end of that turn. So I want to do my best to give as few cards to the AI as possible. So why am I doing this? Well, as I said, I'm drafting and placing cards, and we're going to be placing 4 cards across. So each round we're going to be building 1 row of my dungeon, moving across. And there are a few reasons we're doing this. First, to score this main goal at the end of the game. Then throughout the game, in the first 3 of 4 rounds, we're going to be drafting one of these challenge cards, which gives us another scoring goal. And then also to try and build the blueprint as close as possible to this. So let me start with the end game goal card. I'm competing with the AI for this. Whoever has the most pairs of slime and gelatinous cubes, or oozes in this case, will score 15 points at the end of the game, and whoever has the second most will score 9. Now it's worth noting you do have to have at least 1 pair to score anything, so if I manage to get the AI, or if for some horrible reason I end up with none, then we will score 0 points for not having any pairs. Otherwise, the person with the most of these pairs will score 15, and the second most will score 9. In the solo mode or 2-player mode, we don't have any third player, so that means nothing. In addition to that, we're going to be drafting these challenge cards, and let me show you the ones that came out for this round. This one says at the end of the game, we're going to score 4 points for every chamber that has at least 1 monster, 1 trap, and 1 point star in it. And I'll show what that means in just a second. This one's going to earn me 3 points for every for every knoll that's in a single column. So I'm going to choose 1 column and score 3 points per knoll in that column. And then finally, this deadly tomb is going to score me 3 points for every trap that's in the 4 center rooms of my dungeon. And again, I'm only going to be able to draft 1 of those, and in the first 3 rounds, we will draft one each. So I will have 3 of those at the end of the game that I'm scoring for. The AI doesn't score any of that. The AI is only going to score this goal, this game, and money one, which I'll explain in a minute, and any points that are at the bottom of the 4 cards that it plays during the game. In addition to the goal and the challenge, we've got this money one, and the money one's going to come in only in the last round. And I'll explain this better as we get into gameplay because it's not really going to mean much to you right now. But at the end of the 4th round, I'm going to compare this money value on the last card played by the AI and the amount of money I have left when I pass at the end of the round, at the end of the 4th round. And whoever has more money will get 9 points, and whoever has less money will get 6 points. And then finally, I have this blueprint. And this blueprint is going to score me a number of points, as you can see down here, based on the number of rooms that match the symbols that are shown here. So these 4 rooms down here should be caves. There are 2 different types of rooms. There are these gray stone rooms, and there are these brown cave rooms. So in this case, my dungeon wants 4 caves here, 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 and here. This means that they would like to have a trap in that room. And then I need a gnoll here, a kobold here, and a goblin over there. And if I get all of those things, I will score 20 points. And if I have at least 4 of those things, I will score 5 points with varying point values in between. And finally, the last thing I will score is I'm going to score 1 point for every room in my dungeon that has a path directly back to the entrance. And likewise, 1 point for every room in my dungeon that has a path directly to the exit. So I need to do my best to connect as many rooms both to the entrance and the exit as possible. So how does it work beyond the sort of overview? Well, I'm going to draft a card. I'm going to hold a card. I'm going to give any cards to the AI that match that symbol. And we're going to do that until I fill in a full row. And after I filled in the full row, we're going to look at the coin values at the bottom of that row and add them all up together, plus 1 coin for every treasure chest that I have in my dungeon. And I will add all of that up, and that is my gold value. If that gold value is higher than the printed value on the AI card, then I will go first in the market phase. If not, then the AI will go first in the market phase. If I go first in the market phase, I can buy as many things as I want to with the gold I have, and then I will pass and take 1 of these challenge cards, discarding the other 2. After which the AI is going to take from the treasure chest cards, the market cards, whatever it shows here. So the bottom ones on this and the top ones on this. Remembering I'm saying this is left and right. So in this case, they would take that kobold and that trap if I let them. But if I buy something ahead of them, if I've gone to the market first, then they will only take whatever is left. On the other hand, if this is equal to or higher than my gold value, they will go first. In which case they will take everything that it shows here and they will discard the lowest number. You can see down in the bottom right corner here, a number. They will discard the lowest numbered challenge card, and then it's my turn to purchase as many things as I want to and choose from the remaining challenge cards. And we're going to do that 4 times, except that in the 4th round, there will be no challenge cards. Those only come in the first 3 rounds. And then finally, at the end of the game, we will tally up the score for both myself and the AI, and we will see who has the most points. All right, so let's go ahead and get into gameplay. But before I do that, let me show you the cards that I have up close, at least for this round, so you can see what I'm working with. Here's a kobold and a goblin. This gets me 2 coins, and it has a pathway that goes like this. Now, I did mention in the oblong tokens off the side of the screen, there are some secret passageways. If I overlay a secret passage, I can create a pathway to an adjacent card that isn't already there. So it's not always the end of the world if I place a card that doesn't connect in the way that I want to, because it might be able to be fixed later on. Here we have 2 kobolds in a stone room with an L worth 3 coins. Again, 2 kobolds in this sort of T cave room worth 2 coins. And here we've got a goblin, and this is going to give me 3 points with an L, but that's worth 0 coins. And here's that ooze or gelatinous cube and a kobold, $3 tea room in a stone space. So I'm going to put these out, and I'm going to do my best to explain to you what I'm doing from far away rather than close up. Looking at the first row, I want a cave in this corner. And I want a kobold in this 3rd room right here. I also want to make sure I have something that connects up there into my dungeon area. Also, he's blue, so if I don't put this out or I don't keep it, they will take it. I also want to focus on slimes and gelatinous cubes, which that does for me. So what I think I'm going to do is, I'm going to place that out because it is a cave and it does get me 3 points. Now it's not worth a lot of money, but realistically these vary from 0 to like 5. So unless I place out all 4s and 5s, it's going to be hard for me to beat a 15 anyway. And also looking at what they're taking, they're going to be taking a kobold and a trap, which I don't really care about anyway. And they'll take this trap challenge, which currently I don't care about either, so that's fine with me. And I'm going to hold on to this card with the ooze simply so that I can potentially score it. That means none of these have blue symbols, so all of these get discarded. And then I draw 3 more. We match the number of empty rooms where I draw, so I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3 like that. Ooh, okay. Now we've got some interesting stuff. This blue goes to them if I let it. But here we've got a pair of slime and cube already. And here I've got 2 slimes, that's a cave. And I think what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna place that one right there because it does connect here. It does have some slimes on it. It's 3 coins is not bad. And I do know that later on, let's say for example here, this kobold, I could buy a kobold and add it to a card if I need to. I'm a little bit worried because I'd love to place that one there, which you can't see because of the glare, I'm sorry. I'd like to place that one there, but what that means is that this will not connect into there unless I have a secret passageway later, and these both don't have bottoms, so that's sort of cutting off my entrance, and I don't like that so much. So I'm going to hold on to this card. This card's going to get sent to him, and then this card here is going to be discarded. And now I draw 2 more cards here, 1 and 2 like that. All right, then let's see. Burial grounds and training room. None of those are connecting in the way that I want them to do. This is the only blue one. So I think what I'm gonna do, it doesn't have a kobold, I'll have to hope for one later, but I'm gonna play that cave right there. Because that does connect here, it gives me 2 passageways out. I'm going to keep this one because it's worth more money. And I'm going to place that there, drawing 1 more card like that. All right, so we've got a knoll and we've got this one. Doesn't really matter except that he's going to get this card if I let him. But he's only scoring off kobolds so far. I don't know what else he's scoring off of, but he could score off something of that later. Oh wait, no, in the last round, sorry, he doesn't get anything because I'm going to place 1 and trash 1, so that's it. So I am going to place that one. And again, I apologize for the glare, but I will show you as we go. That looks like it helps a bit. All right, let's do that. Then, that is the end of the first round. I get 0 and 3 and 2 and 4. So that's 3, 4, 5, and 4 is 9, which is definitely not 15. So the AI gets to go first, and they will take the bottom one here and the top one here like that. And now I can buy what I want to buy, and when I buy things, they go onto my cards. And you'll see that every dungeon card, sorry, this one should be discarded and it will in just a minute, but you'll see that every card has 4 spots on it. And every card can hold 4 things. So in this case, there's already one printed here, so I could place 1 in each of those 3 if I had placed that card. Treasure chests are also going to get me 1 coin per chest during this market phase in future turns. But before I do that, the AI is going to get rid of the lowest numbered challenge card, which is that one there. Then I am going to buy those chests because at the end of every round, if I haven't spent money, it will go back to 0 anyway. So I might as well spend that 6 to get these 2 treasure chests. And I get to place them anywhere I want to. Plus I get to choose one of these two. Again, this is scoring for every chamber that has a monster, a trap, and a point. And this is scoring for nulls in a column. I don't have any nulls yet. I could place nulls out later. But if I look here, there's a monster and a point here. If I can put a trap card in there later, that's 4 points. And 4 points is big. So I'm going to take that. I'll just slide those down here for now. I'm going to take that. And then this gets discarded. And I get to place these out. It doesn't really matter where. Except monster, trap, and point. This has trap already. If I put them anywhere else, this needs a trap and a point. So if I put a treasure chest there, it's safe. Because I can still put a trap there. Here I need a monster, yeah. This is going to destroy one of the rooms anyway, so I will just put that there. And that's the end of the first round. Any treasure that's left, or market stuff that's left, is discarded from the game. These cards are removed. My money goes back to 0. We draw out 2 new market cards for the next round. Again, placing out tokens to fit the spaces. Oh, there's a null that I'm not scoring on anymore. And another null. Maybe I should have taken the other one after all. Ooh, there's a point. That would be nice to have in either of those rooms. There's a oozy guy. And one more of these long ones. Oh, there's that kobold I need here. Then we're going to put out 3 new challenges. Let me show them up close what they are. Here we've got teaming with traps. 2 points for every trap in the left or right outside chambers of the dungeon. Next, this one is simply 10 points, the king's favor. And finally here, this gets me, Gelatinous Horror gets me 2 points for every ooze in a single path through my dungeon. So we'll place those out again. AI turns over their next card. Wow, this is one of the advanced ones, 19. They're taking green and red. They're going to take the top 2, and they're getting 2 points and scoring points again based on the slimes and oozes. So I really have to work to make sure they don't get those. Red and green, I don't think I'm going to get to 19, but remember I start with 2 always, and I'm going to draw 5 cards to start again. 5. All right, red and green they're taking. So these 3 cards are red and green, and they all have slimes and oozes, and I can only save 2 of them. Also looking at the second row, I've got a trap and a cave that I need to have. This trap gets me $7, but also -2. But remember, here's a trap and a point that would also score there if I can put a monster in there. So I don't know if I so much hate that -2, except that I'm giving them stuff if I give them stuff. Also, this doesn't connect in there necessarily. All right, then, I really like that, but I don't think I can take it right now because I need other stuff. I don't like any of these things, to be honest with you. In fact, I am going to place that. This might bite me later, but I'm going to place that there. It doesn't connect, but it will connect into those things, hopefully. It gets me $7, which I'm at 8, 9. Means I only need 10 more, 11 more to beat him. And then I'm going to take this. If I hold this, he gets a bunch of oozes with no slimes. If I take this, those pair up with my oozes, or sorry, my slimes, but now he automatically gets 1 pair that's getting him 3 points and will score him points there later. So I have to take this to hold on to. He gets this red and green there. And now I got to make sure he doesn't get any of those slimes. And then this one gets discarded. And that is a trap, which does match there, which is cool. Then we draw 3 more cards. Like that, red and green. Again, these 2 are red and green. That has to be a cave. Yeah, you know what? I like that. Doesn't get me a lot of money, but it does get me a treasure chest. It is a cave, which matches here. I keep this one, which he gets nothing. Those are both blue and go away. Not bad. I draw 2 cards. Okay, here are our first expansion cards. This is a fountain. Any card that has a fountain, first off, the fountain doesn't count as one of the 4 things. And when you play a card that has a fountain, I can move any token in my dungeon to another room. Just one. And of course, it can only go into a room if it doesn't already have 4 things in it. But that lets me move things around on the board as needed. Right now, that's not important. But keep in mind, these are all reds and greens. And I want to have more green. That's a monster and a trap. If I put a point there, I could score that too. Yeah, I want that. And it works very nicely. No, it doesn't. I need something that connects here or here. Here or here, up. I'm going to play it there because I am going to keep this one. And I could potentially come out of here into here because it does go down and I could go back up into those. So we'll see what happens. Or some kind of secret passageway at some point. Then I'm going to hold on to this, means they get this card. I draw one more. Yes. I need to connect up to that top row or I am in trouble, so I will take the slimes like that. And this gets trashed. So now we've got 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You still can't see those very well. Sorry. And that gets me 15, 16 for that treasure chest, 17 for that treasure chest, and 18 for that treasure chest. Let me do that again. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 is still less than 19. There we go, getting rid of some of that glare so you can see better. That's still less than 19, so they're going to go first, unfortunately. Means they take these 2 traps and these 2 knolls. Gosh, I hope they're not scoring off of knolls this game. But I did get 18 coins, so I am going to spend all 9 to get these 3. And now we got to be careful about where we place things out. I need to place the knoll right there, sorry, the kobold right there, so that I can score off of that. And then I need to place the ooze right there so that I can score off of that. And then I have a point that has to go here because point, ooze, and trap also scores me off that. I'm doing great with this. Hold on, before that, they should have discarded the lowest one, which is that. So I get to choose traps on the outside for 2 each or 10. Right now I have a trap here and here is 4 points. I don't know that I'm going to have a whole lot more. I'm going to need 3 more at least to break even. I'm going to take that King's Favor card for right now. That goes away. These go away. And we go into round 3. I'm sorry for the shade over here. I'm trying my best to block that without getting too dark. There we go. Okay. Then, refreshing market cards. 1 and 2 like that, filling in all of the tokens there. Okay, this is our first of those secret passage tokens. So again, for example, I could put that there and connect through. But again, it's placing on the edge. So even here I could do the same thing and those would connect even though neither one of them has a pathway going through like that. All right, another one. Little goblin guy. Another secret passageway. 2 traps. A treasure chest and a slime. I can't let them get that slime. Let's see what they're doing first. Hold on. First 3 challenges. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so we've got Muddied Approach. 4 points for every chamber with at least 3 slimes or oozes. That could actually be a good one for me. Three points for every pair of knolls. That's not good because I don't have any. And then here, ooh, this is also nice. 2 points for every slime in a single path in my dungeon. Well, if we go through here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can't hit both of those rims because it's going to loop back or loop back, and that would be it. But unless we put a hole in somewhere. But anyway, that's cool. AI is going to get 14 coins. That's the easy round this turn. Green only. Top and bottom. 18 points and then 3 again for sets of green and slime. We have to make sure they don't get slime. But again, they want the top here and the bottom here, so they're not getting slimes from that. So I just got to make sure I don't give them any slime cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. I can give them all the oozes I want to so long as they don't have slimes, because they're only getting points if they get pairs. That's red. They won green. So I don't have any worries. In fact, none of these cards are green, so that's fine. I need in the third space to have a cave here and a goblin there. Potentially. Then, I also need to find a way to connect down and over from this way. And I don't love it. But that's not bad. Yeah, let's do that. And then we will hold on to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slimes and only 3 oozes. So I want that one. It's got lots of oozes in it. Again, I do want to add a goblin there if I can get one, but right now I don't have any. And none of those were green, so they all go away. And I get 3 new cards. 1, 2, and 3. Now these both are green. But I don't really care if he gets any. Let me see what they've got. Kobolds and slimes and oozes. So far no gnolls, but this will get him a kobold if I let him have that. Then, I don't like any of that other option because I want to get across here and back up there. And this is up in the wrong way. This is up to nothing. So it's going to be not great for me, but I'm going to take that one there. Which is again not great because it's not a cave. But I could buy a secret passageway. Hold on. Yeah, if I place that there, I could buy a secret passageway through there. That's a cave. And I keep this one simply so he doesn't get the kobold. Those 2 go away like that. I draw 2 more, like this and like that. Ooh, here's a monster and a point. And that's green, which means he's going to get it if I don't use it. Maybe I have to buy 2 secret passageways this time. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 points to start. I need at least 16. Because if I take that one... but this is a dude in a trap. If I can put points there, that's fine too. But then he's going to take... Those both score well for him. So I can't do that. I have to deal with these 2 options here. And again, I apologize for the glare, but I will do my best to block it off like that. And I hope that the corner is not getting super dark because of it. Let me move that away again and see where I can put that to do the best work. Then I get, I like this one, but it doesn't give me a ton of money. This one gets me more peoples. No, I'm going to take this one. You know what? I'm going to take this one and put it here because it might connect down into something else. So that would be really cool if it did. And I'm worried a little bit that that's too dark. So let me just leave it there and I'll cover as needed for you to see what's going on. Again, I do apologize for the glare, but I can't really reset everything right now. Then, keeping that one so he doesn't get it, this one goes there. I take 1 more card like that. And that was not what I wanted to see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or 13. Neither way do I get both secret passages. Well, I'm gonna have to hope that I connect. This one's a problem. Hope that I connect underneath somewhere. Or potentially get another secret passageway, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Doing that... no. Doing that's not great. It means it connects things together potentially, but yeah, well, that's fine. This gets discarded. We stop there. 0, 1, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 I get, which is unfortunate because 14 shouldn't have been hard to beat, but I still didn't do it. So the AI is going to take those 2 tokens there. Move that over so they have space for more, as well as this trap token there. Then I can buy something. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slimes. So you can see again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slimes, 1, 2, 3, 4 oozes. I don't need any more slimes. I'm gonna spend the 7 back to 5, it doesn't matter, to get a treasure and a secret passageway. I'll throw a treasure in there as well. And then I need to put the secret passage somewhere that connects things together. That connects there and would give me a better path. Hold on, which one did he get rid of? The slime and ooze one. So I'm going to aim for that. Means if I come through here, I want to go through there. Like that. But that's going to end up everything. Go through there like that. This doesn't connect to anything, but I don't really care. This way, and that connects. So I got to find a way to get to this from the bottom, and yeah, connect this to the bottom. And then that one right there. Again, sorry, blocking the glare. This one probably doesn't connect in again unless I got a secret passageway. These 2 get discarded. We move into our final round. Oh, I am taking the slime path. That goes away. We don't put any challenges for the 4th round. Simply refilling the marketplace. And I've got, okay, secret passageway, kobold, a cube, 2 traps. 2 traps is good because I need traps potentially here to get the thing, here to get the thing. Yeah. Okay, and then last one here is a little goblin guy. And I draw back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like that. Okay, and then the last card for Jael is not an advanced. I got lucky. I only got 1 advanced card. Red 16, taking the 2 tops, 10 points and 2 points per trap, which is not great because they already have 4 traps, 5 traps, 6, 7 traps. Ouch! That's not good. And 16. So I have to beat 16 if I want 9 points. But the only difference between here is 3 points, and spending all of that stuff to get stuff would be great. I can't let them win this though, because they're going to take the top 2, which gets them a kobold, which they're scoring off of, gets them 2 more traps, which they're scoring off of. I want that secret passage, maybe. Yeah, I got to get the coins, and I'm starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, so I need to put 12 out. All right, and we need a cave here. My exit is in the bottom corner over here. All right, and he's taking red. Okay, fine. Then I'm going to take this cave and put it there because it is worth 4. And I'm keeping this one so he doesn't get it. And those all go away. Like that. I draw out 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. If I can buy that, that would be cool. Because I could connect this into here, connect that into somewhere else. That would be nice to have. And 3, and I don't want him to have either of those. So that's what I'm going to do. These two are going to get, nope, sorry. This one gets placed here. I'm keeping that one, means he takes this card right there. That gets trashed. Okay, I draw two more. I need to place out lots of high scoring stuff. I don't like the -1 point, but I'm not scoring for any combos. Just don't want him to. These -1s are going to hurt me, but that's okay. I'm going to place that there for 3 points. Dungeon exit is there. Okay, keeping that one, returning that one. I draw one more card like that, and that's fine. I play this one for my final card of the game. This is not red, it gets discarded. I've got 3, 6, 10, 15. Right, 3, 6, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, which means I do beat him. So I get to buy first, and 9 and 9 is 18. I'm going to do that. I sacrificed the points for it because I'm going to end with 1 point, but I'm going to buy those 4 things like that because that card is monster, trap, and point. Monster point, if I put a trap there, that scores. Monster point, if I put a trap there, that scores. Connecting in a pathway. This way, this way, this way, this way. Hold on. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the way out. Yeah, so we're going to put that there. Like that. And this one, I don't really care because I'm not scoring off of them anyway. I will place that in there. And again, I know I'm sorry you can't see real well. So just for final scoring, I will place this out in such a way that you can see as much as possible. Just that bottom corner. We go into scoring. And again, I apologize for the darkness in that corner, but I know that it's hard to see with the glare. So for scoring, we're going to use this card. I'm going to move that for right now just so it's not dark, and I will put it back in front of it when we get to the spot where it's needed. Starting with me. First off, points. I end with 1 coin, he ends with 16. He gets 9 points, and I get 6 points. Looking at the goal, he has no slimes. I've got a ton of pairs. Means I've got 15 points. And because I managed to keep him to no slimes at all, he gets 0 points for that, which is awesome. Now, I'm going to go into my 3 cards. We'll start with the first one, is simply 10 points. It's a 10. Then we've got, and this is where I'm going to block off the sun a little bit, we've got every room that has a monster, a trap, and a star gets me 4 points. There's no trap there. I've got monster, trap, there, no star. Okay, here. Monster, trap, star is 1. Monster, trap, star is 2. Here, monster, trap, star is 3. Monster, trap, star is 4. So I get 4 of those for 16 points. Then the third card is a pathway, longest pathway, with the number of slimes that we have to count. 1, 2. Yeah, I think starting here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think starting here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 through this door. Down here 5. Through here is 6. That's 6 times 2 is 12. Then the pathway through the dungeon, connecting to entrance and exit. Again, we've got this connects to entrance. This loop connects to entrance. This connects there, connects there. Then through here it connects to this one and 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 through here to this one and this one. The only thing that doesn't connect is this one right here. Sorry, this one right here does not connect to anything, so that one doesn't count. So 15 rooms connects to both the entrance and the exit. So I get 30 points for that. Then looking at stars, I get 3, 4, minus 2 is 2, plus 3 is 5. And covering the glare here, I'm sorry. Nothing there. Minus 1 is 4, minus 1 is 3. Let me do that again. Minus is 1, 2, 3, 4. Positive is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 minus 4 is 3 points. And then my blueprint. Let's see. I got a cave, a cave, a cave, a cave. That's 4. No goblin. No null. Yes trap. Yes kobold. So I get 6. Sorry, that should go there. I got 6, which gives me a total of 10 points. Back to the AI. They have 4 cards. This one gets them 10 points plus 2 per trap. Traps is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 12 points. Plus 10 is 22. Card number 2. 18 plus 3 for pairs of slimes and oozes. There aren't any, so that's 18. Next, 12 plus 3 for slimes and oozes. There isn't any, so that's 12. 13 plus 2 for kobolds. They've got 1 kobold, so that's 15. Star points. Nothing, 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 nothing. They didn't get any stars. They also don't have any star icons, so that's a wash for them. And there is no blueprint adding for the AI. So adding it all up, for me, 6 and 15 and 10 and 16 and 12 and 30 and 3 and 10 gives me a score of 102. And the AI 9 plus 22 and 18 and 12 and 15 is only a score of 76. So just to bring that closer, because I don't know how much you could see, 102 to 76. And with that, we are done the game. Now, it's worth mentioning that this is a prototype copy, so a lot of the components like these tokens and the quality of the cards and so on is prototype quality and will be sort of improved upon in the final version of the game. But it looks to me like the artwork is pretty much final, and I know for sure that the wooden pieces are final as well. So everything to me looks great. Again, I apologize for the glare, but I hope you can see the display of this dungeon that you've created as you play is really, 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 really cool, and I really love the way that that looks. I mean, all of the artwork on the cards, I'll show you a few of them up close, just looks really, really, really cool. It's very easy to see all of the different pieces. The pathways fit together really nicely, and again, it just leads to a really, really cool looking experience as you're building it out on the table. Just the iconography, everything is super clean. All of the challenges show everything in iconography and then explained in text at the bottom. So even if you don't understand the icons, everything then gets explained out very nicely and easily. Just visually, it looks really cool, and I do really love the design of this. If you've played any of these other Ulos games from Thunderworks, the art is the same kind of art that you're used to in things like Role Player and Cartographers, and all of the other games in that series has this sort of thematic and consistent art that I really, really, really do enjoy. A big fan of the way this looks on my table. One thing that didn't come out just while we're here, let me see if I can find one. In the expansion, there was also those shrines. We never saw one. We only saw the fountains come out. Here's a shrine. Shrines look like this, and while the fountain lets you move one token on the board to anywhere else on your board, the shrine actually lets you swap 2 rooms in your tableau, which is also a really, really cool thing. Meet me back up top and I'll talk more about, not just the expansion obviously, but how I feel about the game in general. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. This one is one that I was very excited to try out because I was a big fan of cartographers. I played it quite a bit, both solo and multiplayer. And I've also been a fan of most of the other games in the Ulo series from Thunderworks. So I was very excited to see another game in the series coming that happens to be from the designer of Cartographers, which is a game that I already really loved. And then I found out this is also a spatial puzzle kind of game, and all of those things together made me very, very, very excited to check this out. And I'm going to say that I'm still very, very, very excited about this game, and I had a blast playing it. Let's talk a little bit about what I enjoyed about this game. First off, as I said, this is a spatial puzzle game, and I do tend to love spatial puzzle games. The whole sort of core mechanism of this game is that it's a card drafting game. Again, that you're laying out cards in this 4x4 grid, trying to design a dungeon. And the cool thing here is that you're trying to design a dungeon that does a bunch of different things at the same time, right? You're trying to fulfill the end game goal better than anybody else, or in this case, better than the AI. You're trying to build a dungeon that matches challenge cards or goals that you're trying to fulfill. However, you're choosing those goals that you're trying to fulfill as they come out in the game. So it's sort of an ever-growing kind of series of goals that you're aiming to get. You're trying to design a dungeon that has pathways that connect to both the entrance and the exit, as you'd probably like them to do in a real dungeon. And then finally, you're trying to fulfill that blueprint that you start with, putting specific kinds of rooms or specific kinds of features in specific places in the map. So you're doing all of these things at all at the same time to put all of this stuff out to match all of these goals. And it just feels really fun to try and match all of these things and try and fulfill as many of these different goals as you can along the way. And it definitely feels quite a bit like Cartographers as far as the sort of goal setting is kind of concerned, because that was the same thing that you were given a certain variety of goals that you were trying to achieve by placing things out in a grid, just kind of like this. Except that in that one, you saw everything that was coming, you just scored different things as you went. In this case, you see some of the things that are coming, and those score as you go kinds of things are unveiling or sort of growing as you play through the game. And ultimately, you're scoring everything at the end of the game. So early game, you're trying to sort of get as much stuff as you can in the hopes that you get a goal later on that matches the things that you started to set up. And you're drafting cards in order to do that, which is cool because at the same time you're trying to connect all of these chambers together with these pathways, which already offers something interesting because it's not just about putting things in the right places to connect or sort of that score based on adjacency to other things, because now you need to have connections. And these connections are going to be quite varied in all of the different rooms. There's L's in all different shapes. There's a straight that doesn't go anywhere. There's a cross that goes in all four directions. There's lots of different pathways that connect. But the interesting thing here, and this is something you might not think about at the beginning, is that you're building row by row as you go through the game. So you might try and plan so that your row connects to the next row, and that row connects to the next row, and that row connects to the next row, and so on. But you don't need to do that, because if you can find a way that like one column connects all the way down, then suddenly as you're filling in later, you can start making rooms that connect back up into things that didn't connect to anything earlier on. So there is this sort of forward-thinking kind of planning that can also happen. If you don't get things that connect at the beginning, you're not out of luck, because in the future you might get something that connects back up into things. And that's a really, really cool idea, that it's not just about what I'm doing now, it's what I'm doing later. And there's more to it, because then you've got the market as well. And now the market is letting you add different features, different creatures, and different traps, and potentially even add new passageways between the different chambers in your dungeon, sort of making fixes or corrections to the things that you've done in previous turns or previous rounds even. And that's really, really cool, because you might get a really, really high scoring challenge that comes out later in the game and realize, well, I didn't really do much of that, but if I connect this thing to this thing through secret passageways, or if I dump a lot of these features into these places, well, now I can retroactively go back and score a ton of points, because I don't do my score calculation until the very end of the game. So it's a very unique mix of card drafting, and we'll talk about that again in a minute when I talk about the solo mode. because I love a card drafting game, but card drafting in solo is not necessarily the easiest thing to do. But here we've got a combination of card drafting and this sort of tile-laying spatial puzzle, but then a tile-laying spatial puzzle that has sort of future-leaning correction ability to overlay things and change things. And if you're using the expansion now to actually swap things around later on, if you get one of those expansion cards, it just plays out really cool. It's quick, it's a really interesting puzzle, and it's just fun to play with. And every time you play, you get a bunch of different challenges, you get a different goal, you get a different blueprint, and it plays very, very, I don't want to say differently because the puzzle is still the same puzzle, but the way that you play the puzzle and the things that you're focused on and the things that you're not focused on are going to change completely every time you play. And the different mix of things really does add quite a bit to the variability in this game, which is always a big thumbs up from me. Now, let's talk about the AI, because again, this is a card drafting game in the base multiplayer game, meaning take a card and pass, take a card and pass kind of card drafting. And now there's a solo mode, which is AI based. You are playing against a character that's also scoring, which is generally what I enjoy in a solo mode rather than just a beat your own high score. And they could have easily done a beat your own high score in this game, sort of like they did in the Cartographer's solo mode. But first off, let's talk about the drafting bit, because as a solo player, there's nobody to pass cards to and there's no cards to take from somebody else. But what they've done here basically replicates that in a solo mode. I start with a hand of 5 cards. Then I play one, and I keep one. The keep one is a slight change, but it's a cool change, and I'll explain why in a minute when we talk about the AI. But I play one and I keep one, and then I draw 3. Well, now I have 4 cards, just as if I'd been passed to me. And then I play one and I keep one and I draw 2, right? And then now I've got 3 cards. Then I play one and I keep one and I draw 1, and now I've got 2 cards. So you always, as if you were getting a hand with 1 less card than the previous hand that you had before, and it plays quite a bit like if you were drafting. Now, the only thing it doesn't have is sort of the idea of which cards do I pass to my opponent, but on the other hand, it does have that, because the AI's cards now show me a symbol that they will take from me if I let them take them. So now I'm thinking about which card do I play to score for me, but which card do I play to keep the AI from getting that same card? Also, I'm keeping 1 card. So even if I don't play a card, I can always keep a card to prevent the AI from getting it. And that's big, because in the 4th turn, I'm going to play one and throw one away. So I could basically keep a card through all 4 turns simply to keep the AI from getting that card. And that adds a nice decision level to the game, because I'm actually playing against an opponent at that point. It's not just me trying to do my best. I'm also trying to limit what the AI is capable of doing. And just like my challenge cards are coming out each turn, every time I turn over an AI card, I see another scoring condition for the AI. So I'm learning more and more about what I shouldn't be giving to the AI. And it might be that early on I'm giving them lots of stuff that's going to help them later that I don't know about. So I need to be careful about giving them too much of any one kind of thing. And then the AI is competing with me for coins, for market priority, and for coins for the end game priority scoring, and also the end game goal scoring. If they get more stuff than me, then they're going to get more points than I do. So there's definitely a real competition with an opponent that doesn't take a whole lot to run, because all you're doing is turning over 1 card and then making decisions based on that 1 card that you see. And it plays really, really, really smoothly, and it works pretty well. Now, granted, there's a lot of information you get about what the AI is going to do based on what the AI is going to do. And also a lot of what happens is going to be based on the cards that come out. Because if you get a lot of cards with a symbol that match the AI, well, they're then just going to get a bunch of cards from you, and there's nothing you can do about that. Whereas if you draw a bunch of cards that don't match the AI, then they're not going to get a bunch of cards, and yay for you. So there is a bit of randomness that hits here in the AI. Also, I have to say that the AI is a little bit easy, not completely easy. They have beaten me on normal mode. This is the first time I've played on the advanced mode, and I did pretty well, very well this time, but everything sort of fell right into place where it should have fallen into place this time. So I don't know for sure. Again, I've only played this 5-6 times now. I don't know for sure that this is gonna be like super challenging as a solo mode, but again, in a game like this that is a sort of puzzly, spatial kind of game, for me, I don't care too much about the win or lose as long as it's there. There is the idea of win or lose, but ultimately it's the puzzle and the sort of mental exercising that I'm doing basically as I play the game that makes it something that I really enjoyed doing. So I have to say that I'm a really big fan of this. I have to say that Jordy Adan does it again. Cartographers was a hit, and I expect that this one is going to be a big hit as well. I'm very excited because I know Cartographers has gotten a ton of expansions since it came out, and I'm hoping that if this one does as well, this will also get a bunch of expansions growing for it. That micro expansion that's in there right now is cool, and I'd love to just see more variety in room types and goal types. And maybe if they can throw in some new mechanisms like the heroes and cartographers, I'd be even happier. Big recommend for me. If you are a fan of spatial puzzlers, definitely check this one out. I'll throw the link down below to the campaign when I've got it. Otherwise, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, as always, I do ask that you like, subscribe, and click the bell icon below, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.